And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. Welcome to Benchley Night. Welcome to Benchley Night here in Bellows Falls, Vermont. As you guys have followed over the last couple of weeks, it's been bad time for cats around here. 2 weeks ago at this time, I was saying that I thought Yorkie was circling the drain. And indeed, the next day, between 12:15 and 12:45 p.m., Yorkie did breathe her last underneath the chaise lounge in the living room. That was a sad week. It was a sad week, ladies and gentlemen. And everything I was starting to feel a little bit happier and thinking about maybe it was time to start looking for getting a cat for Charbonneau, because a cat needs a cat. But a week ago today, I returned to the studio at 5 in the afternoon, and it was clear that Corduroy was not doing well. And I believe last week when I read, I said to send good thoughts to Corduroy because I thought she was probably not long for this world, and that turned out to be true. Because on Monday morning, I went back to the studio and she was clearly dying. And so I sat with her and helped her over the Rainbow Bridge, not physically. I did not asphyxiate her or anything. I stroked her side and told her how loved she was. And she flew away at 11 a.m. as the clock struck 11 a.m. And as I posted on Faceplant, a few minutes before she flew, she was lying on her side, but she started walking someplace. And as Betty Sue and I have said, she was walking toward the throne of God. And she was saying, I believe you are sitting in my chair. So it was very, very sad to say goodbye to Yorkie and Charbonneau that quickly. Now, I mean, Yorkie and Corduroy that quickly. I'm sorry, I was thinking about Charbonneau, because Charbonneau is here. He's been achieved for the night, which means his cat door it has to be taped shut now, because he's figured out how to just keep whacking at the little switch to eventually get it so he can go outside again. So he is achieved for the night. And Betty Sue just sent me a little video of a cat that has come up to her at her home, a young teenage unwed mother cat with apparently some kittens who are living in the storm drain, and she's feeding this cat. So for all I know, there may be another flight from Austin, Texas, bearing a cat up to Vermont. Kind of an arranged marriage, possibly. We'll find out. Hi, artist Corwin. Let's see. I'll just post a few remarks. Sorry about her. I know it's a very sad artist. Carol Burning. Yeah, thank you, Carol. And Terry Hudson, it's been a hard time for cats, Terry. Anyway, enough grieving. Because here's the other thing, ladies and gentlemen, as awful as it was having two beloved cats die, can you imagine, in the space of a week, can you imagine the pain of those parents parents anywhere, but it's been brought home, closer to home, with the flooding in Central Texas. Oh, how losing a cat is hard. Losing a child is unfathomable. All right, so let's put those cares aside. Just get those cares out of here, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for Robert Benchley. Oh, Nat Hunter is here, and Meg Spencer. Hi, everybody. All right. two short Benchley pieces, and they are interconnected, and that's why I chose them. Now, these are both from My 10 Years in the Quandary and How They Grew. And that was the book, that was the Benchley book I was thinking about, the one that really made me feel like Benchley was mine, because we had Inside Benchley, and that has Museum Feet and opera synopses and Paul Revere's Ride. And that was the one my father would read to us. But we also had My 10 Years in a Quandary and How They Grew. And my father never read to us from that. And I just adopted that one and would chuckle to myself up in my room at night. Movie boners. One of them, and this is interesting also, because this is written in 1936 or so. And the thing about finding continuity errors in movies, people still love to do that. If you go to IMDb for any movie at all, people are always talking about, continuity errors. Movie boners. One of the most popular pastimes amongst movie fans is picking out mistakes in the details of a picture. It's a good game because it takes your mind off the picture itself. For example, French, par exemple, in the picture called One Night Alone for a Change, the prince enters the door of the pool room in the full regalia of an officer of the hussars. As we pick him up coming in the door in the next shot, he has on chaps and a sombrero. Somewhere on the threshold he must have changed. This is just sheer carelessness on the part of the director. In We Need a New Title for This, we have seen Jim, when he came to the farm, fall in love with Elsie. Although what Elsie does not know is that Jim is really a character from another picture. The old squire, however, knows all about it and is holding it over Jim, threatening to expose him and have him sent back to the other movie, which is an independent and costs only about $100,000. Now, when Jim tells Elsie that he loves her, and before this, we've already been told that Elsie has been in New York working as secretary to a chorus girl who was just about to get the star's part on the opening night. He says that he is actually a full-blooded Native American because he knows that Elsie loves Native Americans. Well, so far, so good. But in a later sequence, when they strike oil in Elsie's father, in a previous shot, we've seen Elsie's father, and we've learned that he's given an option on himself to a big oil company, which is competing with the squire. But what the old squire does not know is that his house is actually on fire. And when Elsie comes to Jim to tell him that she cannot marry him, the clock in the sitting room says 10:30. When she leaves, it says 10:20. That would make her interview minus 10 minutes long. In Throw Me Away, the streetcar conductor is seen haggling with the Morelli gang over the disposition of the body of Artie Muskrat Wheeler. In the next shot, we see Artie haggling with the streetcar conductor over the disposition of the bodies of the Morelli gang. This is simply sloppy cutting. In Dr. Tanner Can't Eat, there is a scene laid in Budapest. There is no such place as Budapest. What the general public does not know is that these mistakes in detail come from the practice of block booking in the moving picture industry. In block booking, a girl known as the script girl holds the book of the picture and is supposed to check up at the beginning of each take, or baby broad, to see that the actors are the same ones that were in the previous take. The confusion comes when the script girl goes out to lunch and comes back to the wrong set. Thus, we might have one scene in The Little Minister where everybody was dressed in the costumes of the Scarlet Empress. Only the Little Minister and the Scarlet Empress were made on different lots and at different times. It might happen, even at that. So that's the end of the first one, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end of the first one. Oh, Brenda Watson says hello from Arkansas. And Brenda has lost Molly and Casey. Losing cats is so hard. So hard. Sorry, Brenda. We've all been there, and the pain is so intense and personal. All right. Part 2, the second reading from tonight. It's only a few pages further along in my 10 years in the quandary and how they grew. What? No Budapest? A few weeks ago, in this space, I wrote a little treatise on movie boners in which I tried to follow the popular custom of picking technical flaws in motion pictures, detecting, for example, that when a character enters a room, he has on a bow tie, and when he leaves, it is a four-in-hand. In the course of this fascinating article, I wrote, quote, "In the picture called Dr. Tanner Can't Eat, there is a scene laid in Budapest. There is no such there is no such place as Budapest." In answer to this, I've received the following communication from M. Schwartzer of New York City. Quote, "Ask for your money back from your geography teacher. There is such a place as Budapest, and it is not a small village either. Budapest is the capital of Hungary. In case you've never heard of Hungary, Hungary is in Europe. Do you know where Europe is? Respectfully yours, etc." I am standing by my guns, Mr. Schwartzer. There is no such place as Budapest. Perhaps you're thinking of Bucharest, and there is no such place as Bucharest either. I gather that your geography teacher did not tell you about the Treaty of Ulm in 1802, in which Budapest was eliminated. By the terms of this treaty, and I quote from memory, quote, "Be it hereby enacted that there shall be no more Budapest. The city has been getting altogether too large lately, and the coffee has not been any too good either. So, no more Budapest is the decree of this conference, and if the residents don't like it, they can move to some other place." This treaty was made at the close of the War of 1805, which was unique in that it began in 1805 and it ended in 1802, thereby confusing the contestants so that both sides just gave in at once. Budapest was the focal point of the war, as the Slovenes were trying to get rid of it to the Balks, and the Balks were trying to make the Slovenes keep it. This will explain, Mr. Schwartzer, why there is no such place as Budapest. If any word other than mine were needed to convince you that you have made a rather ludicrous mistake in this matter, I will quote from a noted authority on non-existent cities, Dr. Almer Doctor, Pinsk Professor of Obduracy at the University of that name. In his Vanished Cities of Central Europe, he writes, "Since 1802, there has been no such place as Budapest. It is too bad, but let's just face it." Or, again, from Nedliger's Atlas, revised for the Carnation Show in London of 1921, quote, "A great many uninformed people look in their atlases for the city of Budapest and complain to us when they cannot find it. Let us take this opportunity to make clear that there is no such place as Budapest and has not been since 1802. The spot, which was once known as Budapest, is now known as the Danube River by Strauss. I would not rebuke you. I would not rebuke you so publicly, Mr. Schwartzer, had it not been for that crack of yours about my geography teacher. My geography teacher was a very fine woman and later became the mother of 4 bouncing boys, 2 of whom are still bouncing. She knew about what happened to Budapest, and she made no bones about it. In future communications with me, I will thank you to keep her name out of this brawl. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that is tonight's reading. And now we have a very, very special ending. I finally sat down and compiled the list of people who are supporting our charitable work. And I went online and I found an image of Mr. Benchley carving a turkey for a short called How to Carve a Turkey. And I went and I made a little animation listing all the people who are donating to our charitable efforts, all the liberal snowplowing do-gooders out there. And as this shows, as this runs, it's only a few seconds long, but it took many seconds to put together. As it runs, I am going to take the unidentified ungulate in the can and name the names of those who are exceptionally generous, our top contributors. So thank all of you who are helping our charitable work, because as you know, every cent raised by my Substack goes to one charity or another, and you are part of that. And I thank you. And like the Manatees, thank you. And the Free Press thanks you. And the ACLU thanks you. Every doomed cause out there thanks you. And here we go. Uh-oh, that's the end of it. No. Let's run it again. Here we go. Now, I don't know why it's doing it in kind of that strange little one column after another. But it's pretty cool, huh? That's my first time doing it. Kind of neat. Let's run it again, and this time I'll read the names and do the unidentified ungulate. But I'm pretty proud of that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pretty proud of that. Ready? Catherine Fisher, Susan McNeil, Kate Fry, John Wilhelm, Cece Danforth, SM, Lone Tree Therapy, Melinda Weingartner, Nancy Kimball Flanagan, Nancy Radzik, Linda Marquez, Helen Siksek, Deborah Levitt, Squill, Martha Rowley, John T. Wilhelm, I already said that, and out there in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where they send you unbidden, multiple unidentified ungulates in cans. My very, very, very tall cousin, Mr. Nat Hunter, his wonderful wife, Elise, and their little tiny dog, Ginger. You all take good care, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in. It means a lot. And your love and support during a tough week means a lot as well. Bye-bye, everybody.